Speaker is Dr. Rehana Landa Mohamed and Terence. Dr. Rehana Landa Mohamed is an educational consultant, instructional designer, and edtech strategy with over 20 years of experience. She is a creator of the ESTREAM curriculum. She pioneers innovative technology driven learning experience, focusing on STEAM and ESTREAM education. As a founder and CEO of ESTREAM Sunshine Path, she develops and implements cutting edge educational initiatives emphasizing critical thinking and personalized learning. Dr. Mohammed collaborates with edtech firms like Edm8ker developing AI-powered lesson plans and has cooperated with stakeholders in the Florida Department of Education on best standard practices. A sought after speaker, she presented at conferences like FETC and ISTE. Her leadership roles include Director of Instruction at the Florida Educational Institute and worked at the St. Antonis Schools of Higher Education, where she implemented successful ESTREAM programs. Dr. Mohammed holds dual doctorates from Nova Southeast University and is a certified Interskills for Innovation ambassador. She actively engages in communicate initiatives and serves on advisor boards. Her work has been featured in publications and media, highlighting her contribution to digital learning and instructional innovation. Terence leads the expensive of Edmark's team's program in the USA, alongside serving as the product manager for ED. He holds AEDM from the Harvard Graduation School of Education, focusing on human development and educational psychology. Terence was formerly a higher education policy officer in Singapore Minister of Education and began his career as a high school English and history teacher. Terence is a certified serum manager, project management professional, and an InterSkills for Innovation certified trainer. Please join me in welcoming our speaker, Dr. Rehana and Terence.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me and Terence to be a part of this community. Thank you so much, Kavya, for that wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
So you already did our introductions for us. As you know, Terence and we are part of Eddie and ESTREAM. We met approximately 2 years ago, and we flourished together, both of our companies together. So the ESTREAM curriculum, it's built on your STEM and STEAM concept, but the only difference is that with the eStream curriculum, I've added entrepreneurial skills and research. Now, in partnership with Edm8ker and Eddie, we have your maker cards and all of that embedded into the curriculum. So it includes the prototyping, the 3D printing, the computer aided designs, the computer programming that allows our children to do all of these things together. They also have the hands-on circuitry where they have the little strips and they can build circuits together. Physical computing, IoTs, and virtual reality all built into everything together.
At this point, maybe I'll just add on to what Rehana has already shared. I think the eStream curriculum that we've developed, a big part of it is a focus on learning by doing, right? Because in our experience, we know that our students, a lot of them don't learn best through academic work, meaning that when you ask them, what's 2 plus 2? Like many of them, their eyes glaze over, right? But when you give them hands-on manipulators, you ask them to create, to build, to create artifacts, that's when they get really excited. And that insight and that realization is really at the heart of what we've developed. As Edm8ker, we have been spending the past 8 years honing our skills and helping students learn by doing. And so a lot of our focus is on fully hands-on stuff like on the left, cardboard prototyping, hands-on circuitry, physical computing with a microbit and makey, as well as digital fabrication. But what we've seen recently is a move into what I like to call digital making, right? Which is the idea that students are creating not just with their hands on cardboard and using physical manipulatives, but in the digital world. What does it look like when, for example, students can use Replit or Cursor, as Deepak mentioned before, right, to build a functioning prototype of a website in minutes? What does it mean when students can use Gen AI tools to create um, uh, STL or templates to help in 3D printing, right? They don't actually need to create the full model in a 3D printing software. They can use generative AI to create that. What happens when all these tools open up a whole new space for students to build and create artifacts that they can subsequently monetize and commercialize? And that's the kind of future that we're going to, and that's really the uh, background underpinning our whole eStream curriculum that Rehana mentioned. Yeah,
Thank
Dr.
you so much for
Rehana.
that, Terence. So the eStream curriculum, it develops the essential skills that our children need, such as the critical thinking, the problem solving, creativity, technical and technological skills, collaboration, and it also focuses on SEL, which is your social emotional learning. It incorporates all of this into the curriculum. For the social emotional learning aspect, the children, they learn to develop a positive relationship and teamwork. They work on judgment making, decision making. They learn empathy and social skills, how to work together with others. And these are skills that they need going out into the job force, especially how the world is changing on a global aspect. Everybody is looking to know that you have these skills already embedded in you. And eStream is teaching these skills from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. We have the mindset skills that focus on the design thinking, the computational thinking, system thinking, creativity, inquiry-led approach. And the students, they learn by doing, they learn by actually applying the things in the classroom, the hands-on learning, like Terence explained. It allows them to expand their mind, expand their horizon. It's not just that rote memorization that we had in our classroom when I was going to school. You memorize something, you learn it, and you don't really transfer that knowledge, no, with the hands-on aspect while you're applying it and you're doing it. You tend to recall the information quicker. So that is the skill sets and the mindsets that eStream is embedding into our students. It focuses on critical thinking, the problem solving, communication, it for the research aspect. So the children have to do the research in order to find the information, the methodologies of research. They focus on experiments and how to analyze these data. And it focuses on questioning and gathering the data that the students learn from their research and how to apply all of that into the classroom. Therefore, they transfer all of this knowledge once they come out of school. For the entrepreneurial skills, it develops that ownership, that sense of ownership, something that I have, something that I created. It gives them that purpose and understanding that since the world is changing so much, there's different avenues they can pursue as far as starting their own business, an e-commerce store. At our school, we launched an e-commerce store, and this was done by our middle school students. And our school store has all of our school uniforms, school swag, lunch boxes, all of that pertaining to our school. And all of this was done by our students. So it's teaching them that skill set. Okay, I could do this from a very young age. Now,
Oh,
Terence?
and so yeah, and so a big question, when we share this with teachers, right? I will be pretty upfront to everyone. We are educators at heart, right? I taught high school K-12. I taught high school history and English in Singapore at the start of my career. So we are educators at heart. And so when we share about eStream with teachers, a major question that we often get is, this is a great curriculum, but it runs counter to what a lot of teachers are used to teaching, right? I'm used to taking a curriculum that teaches that approaches students in a much more didactic kind of pedagogy, right? Whereas the eStream curriculum is really premised on project-based and problem-based learning, getting students to create by doing, like they learn by doing, right? So one big question from teachers is, is it easy to implement? It looks like it's super challenging to implement. And that's why Rehana and I have actually developed a Gen AI curriculum assistant, Eddie, that helps teachers. It just takes minutes to integrate eStream into your classroom using this Gen AI curriculum assistant. So I'm going to share a little bit about how this works. Next slide. So as a teacher, right? Yeah. I go to this our platform and I'll key in the topic and description. So let's say I want to teach about the life cycle of plants. I key that in, I key in the grade and the subject that I'm teaching. And then crucially, I key in the eStream mindsets and skill sets. All of these were mentioned by Dr. Rehana just now. And so I can choose to key it in or leave it empty and let the system choose for me. I can also select software that I want to integrate. And we currently have a selection of 10 different maker-centric software. After clicking generate, the system will give me, our platform will give us 3 different options of potential lessons with a blurb for each lesson. As a teacher, I'm going to read each of them and see which one aligns with my lesson objectives the most before clicking on Build Lesson Package to build it out. It takes around 1 minute to build out the full lesson package, but we're going to skip ahead today. And the full lesson package contains of the lesson plan, key vocabulary, prior knowledge, everything that a teacher needs to use in their classroom, and crucially, the slide deck. All right? Teachers can copy the slide deck that was generated into their Google Drive in a very intuitive interface. And these slides are also available on the lesson plan within the platform. I'm going to share what the lesson plan looks like. Each slide can be actually previewed, right? You can scroll through and look at each slide as well as the teacher prompts or the teacher remarks that guides the teacher in executing the lesson. The teacher is also able to download the whole lesson plan in a PDF because when I used to be a teacher, I used to print out lesson plans and bring them into my classroom to help me. So you can see that each lesson is broken down into intro, a main, and a closing. It's a sequence that many teachers are really used to, opening a lesson, conducting the main activity, and then closing the lesson. And so for example, in this particular lesson, the teachers are actually getting students to classify different types of plants using a tool called machine learning for kids that teaches students about AI's ability to classify and categorize. In training their own model, they're not just learning about plant classifications and their life cycle, which are, pretty much aligned to science academic standards, but they're also learning about AI skills, right? They're learning about how to classify, they're learning how AI categorizes. And what I'm sharing right now is when a teacher actually builds up, goes to the slide, they might make some changes, they might make some edits to the lesson, but a lot of the content there is already there for them to for them to develop and for them to customize further. We're currently in open beta, which means that our platform still needs a little bit of work, but it's really usable. And Dr. Rehana has actually been using it for the past few months in her classroom. So that's pretty much a short demo of our product right now. Next slide, and we'll see the impact of this demo on the next slide. So what we find out when we've tested Eddie in classrooms, We generate eStream aligned lessons in just 1 minute, so that frees up valuable teacher time. If you ask teachers around the world, they spend 7 to 12 hours lesson planning a week. This is a huge amount of time that could be better spent supporting students, facilitating group discussions, doing a lot of the things that AI currently cannot do, right? Doing a lot of the human aspects to lessons and human aspects to teaching that AI currently is not in the best position to do, right? Allowing teachers to reclaim their time, right, by recouping 90% time savings can allow them to deploy eStream at scale while still retaining their weekend time. Next slide. So when Eddy and eStream are used together, the impact on students is transformational. And right now, Rehana is going to share with you just how transformational this experience was for our students.
So thank you so much for that, Terence. As you can see, and what Terence had said, I've been utilizing this platform, the ESTREAM platform, in my classroom for several months. Even though it's in beta phase, our children are learning and have grown so much with all of this new technology. To the left of your screen, you can see that here our students are learning how to code using one of the platforms called Pencil Code. Here is a classroom discussion that we're having utilizing the platform, and it's all project-based learning, so it integrates all of the technological skills that our children needs to flourish for the 21st century. The standards, our technology standards, are also aligned with the ISTE technological standards, and it's also aligned with our UNESCO 2030 goals. That was one of the reasons why eStream was invited to the UN the past couple of weeks in New York. Here are some real life class students in my class.
And at this point, I'll jump in and say that many of these students had not used a lot of these tech tools that we were introducing to them. For many, it was their first time using tools like Python, using tools like machine learning for kids, using tools like Canva. But through eStream, they really discovered how a lot of these tech tools cannot just be used to consume media, but to create media, right? To create artifacts, to create examples of their own examples of artifacts that demonstrate what they've learned about an academic topic. And to me, that's so precious.
And this little child, she's in second grade, so she's exposed to all of this technology in second grade. So imagine learning this technology and these skill sets and mindsets from lower elementary, kindergarten, all the way to 12th grade, and it scaffolds on each other. The students are coming out of high school with all of these skills already embedded in them, which makes them marketable in the job market. As you can see here, we're utilizing different technological platforms from the EDI platform in our classroom, and it's evidence-based practice since it includes our social emotional learning, the mindsets, the skill sets, and it scaffolds from kindergarten to 12th grade. And like I said, all of our students build on each other. All this core subjects are incorporated in the different classes. So in math class, for example, they'll be getting their reading, their language arts, their science, and their social studies in math. In science, they'll get their math, their social studies, their reading, and their language arts. It's all embedded and scaffolds on each other from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. I started implementing the eStream curriculum at our school back in August when our school year started. and I am in the process of conducting our end of the year assessment. So if you look here at the bottom where this arrow is at, this was our beginning, our baseline test, and the top one, it's our end of the year. This is our reading data. As you can see, the green with the black lines mean that our students are mid or above their grade level. The red, they are 3 or more grade level below. So comparing from our baseline in reading to our current end of the year testing, which was concluded last week, our scores and our students' learning has improved dramatically. This is our math one, the same thing. The bottom, it's our beginning, which was done back in August of last year. And the top is the one that's currently being assessed now. I'll be finished by this week. So I ran this data just for this conference. And again, as you can see, the red with the black line, which is 3 and more grade levels below, the red is 2 grade levels below, has dramatically decreased in the end of the year testing. And the green with the black, meaning that they're mid or above grade level, has dramatically increased. So this is the data that proves that the EDI and ESTREAM curriculum together, built on that platform, is working. So it has a comprehensive it is the comprehensive education solution that's focused on building the student as a whole, as an individual. It gives the students everything they need to thrive in every aspect of life, going into the workforce, coming out of high school, getting ready if they want to go on the college path. It's preparing them for that. If they don't decide to go into college, they want to go into a CTE or into the job workforce, they have those skills in the portfolio to back it up based on this curriculum. And if you would like to know more, you can scan the QR code. It has the data. The end of the year data is also coming soon attached to that. And it has the link to the platform to sign up. Thank you so much for your time. We're open for any questions and comments if you have.
And the use of the platform currently in its beta phase is free. 100%
Yes, free.
free. A cost of $0.00. Yep. We'll take questions.
Absolutely free.
Are there any questions? Thank you very much for a great presentation, Dr. Rehana and Dr. Terence.
Thank you so much, Kiran, for having us and allowing us to be here this morning.
Professor Dana, do you have anything to say? Professor Dana, you are on mute. Just a minute, please.
Wonderful, wonderful presentation. Thank you for your beautiful presentation. Any questions? Wonderful presentation. Congratulations. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Professor York, for allowing Terence and myself to be a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you. And feel free to connect with us over LinkedIn if there are any other questions about our work. Happy to engage with our audience separate from this call.
Wonderful. Well done. It's very important. Your work is important. And everybody take the QR code. And will you be with us tomorrow? Will you look at the lectures tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
We have the panel discussions and everything, and we will catch it tomorrow. Now, we congratulate you for your work. Children are the future. It's very important. Education